Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of the JV Sports Show. James Poovey alongside my partner, Vince Delicio. We are very privileged to be joined today by Mr. Darren Woodson, Super Bowl champion Darren Woodson of the Dallas Cowboys. Darren, how are you today?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Weather's nice out here in Dallas. Nice and hot like I grew up in Phoenix. So I'm feeling good about things.
Now, speaking of growing up in Phoenix, anybody that grew up in the Valley knows this name, knows Darren Woodson, knows a lot of his background. There's some things we're going to learn about him a little bit, even more so today, about Maryvale High School. I mean, I am so excited to be sitting here talking to Darren, especially the fact that we spent so many years of our childhood without an NFL team, and it was natural that fans here in the Valley matriculated to the Dallas Cowboys as their team, as America's team. So this man is living the dream right here. So we're looking forward to talking to him. We'll get Darren's story right after the break.
Yeah, we'll step aside very shortly, come back, and we'll visit with Mr. Darren Woodson after this. You're listening to the JV Sports Show. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Located across the street from Tempe's A Mountain and a few blocks from Sun Devil Stadium, College Bar and Grill is your home for the best local craft beer, delicious creative cocktails, tasty food, and Tempe's best atmosphere for ASU sports. Come see Joe, Nick, and the team for the best half-price happy hour in town from 3 to 6 and again from 10 p.m. to close. Wings, sandwiches, salads, and desserts. Whether you're on your way to the game or after, and catch your favorite games on their big screens. Located at the southwest corner of 5th and College in the heart of Tempe, College Bar and Grill, a proud partner of the JV Sports Show. Vince here to talk about Angel Dentistry. Angel Dentistry is where my wife and I have gone for the past 10 years and can't think of going anywhere else. Dr. Amber Angel is an Arizona native, born in the town of Miami, and practiced in the Valley nearly 20 years. Dr. Angel and her staff strive to provide excellent customer service from the moment you call the office to the time you leave with a smile. From general to comprehensive dental services, call 602-788-2008 and ask about the JV Sports Special, a free to-go whitened tray. With or without insurance, she will work with you. Off Cave Creek Road, north of the 101 in Phoenix, Angel Dentistry, trusted partner of the JV Sports Show.
Home mortgage lending done the old-fashioned way. The Wyckoff team with Finance of America Mortgage will take the time needed to explain every step in the loan process. In today's fast-paced world, it's nice to work with a lender that you can meet in person. We have a variety of home loans to fit your needs. Learn more about how lending products from Finance of America Mortgage could help you achieve your financial goals. Contact the Wyckoff team today at 623-308-5385 or stop by their office located on Grand Avenue just north of Bell Road in beautiful Surprise, Arizona. The Wyckoff team believes you shouldn't have to feel alone. Finance of America Mortgage, where business is always personal.
Hey, all you business owners. Vince here from the JV Sports Show. Are you a fan of junior college and small college sports? Want to reach an established and growing sports radio listening audience both locally and abroad? Partner up with the JV Sports Show. We can help promote your business while you help support exclusive coverage of junior college, NAIA, NC2A Division II and III sports. Check us out at www.jvsportshow.com and let us show you the benefits of partnering up with James and I on the JV Sports Show.
Long Realty is the go-to for all your real estate needs. Local buyer looking in the West Valley? Call our trusted partners at Long. Out-of-state friends looking for a home in the beautiful Valley of the Sun? Call Long. Selling? Call Long, and they'll make your home long gone. Call 623-584-5384 and mention the JV Sports Show to get a free market analysis. Long Realty, located in beautiful Surprise, Arizona on Grand Avenue.
Welcome back to the JV Sports Show. James and Vince here with Dallas Cowboy, Arizona State University, and Maryvale High School, and that means something to people that grew up in the Phoenix area. Darren Woodson. Darren, the way we format the show is we talk about the person, we talk about their upbringing to kind of set the stage for everything else and the contributions that our guests have made in society and in life. And so let's go back and let's talk about your upbringing. So you grew up in Maryvale, and what was it like? What was childhood like for you? How many siblings? Tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
The upbringing started off actually in Henson Projects as a young kid, very young, off 7th Avenue and Buckeye Road.
Oh, sure.
From my Maryville days. My mother raised 4 kids, single parent. My father was, and my mother were separated, and basically my mom, through her willed us through, grade school, high school, and then 3 of the 4 off into college, and then the other 4th went through the military. But my mother did an incredible job of bringing us up in the Maryville area. And I'm not going to say, look, I think, was there crime involved in the Maryville area? Yes. My best friend who I grew up with, named Keith Tucker, do 26 years in prison. Absolutely. But I don't remember it being a situation in which, it was a crime infested area, or it felt like, the persona was always that it was that. But I remember, my mother giving us the best opportunity. She worked 2 jobs.
Wow.
A stable, household, and gave us every opportunity. And I think the one thing that, that I love about my mother was the fact that, she found ways to keep us busy. Living in that Maryville area, even when we were in Henson, keeping us busy in sports. And, all my brothers, all 3 brothers and my sister, we were involved in every sport imaginable to keep us off the street, and went to church every week. And she did a great job of doing that and keeping us involved in the sports industry, which allowed us to stay off the streets and stay away from the gangs and whatnot. But Mother Freddie Luke is a angel and definitely my hero.
Well, you mentioned that your mother was active in keeping you guys involved in sports. Talk a little bit about what it was to play football at Maryville High School, and when did you know, you mentioned you played a lot of other sports. When did you know that football was going to be the route that you were ultimately going to go?
I played all the sports. I played basketball, baseball, and football. And basketball, I always felt like I was never going to be a guy who was going to get over 6'1" at best. My brothers and my father. And that's a tall man's sport. And I couldn't handle the ball. I just couldn't handle. I played against guys like Kevin Minifield and Felipe Sparks in basketball, and they can legitimately handle the basketball. That wasn't my thing. I was a rebounder, push you out of the way, get you out of the block, that type of guy at 6'1". So I knew that wasn't. Baseball was a sport that I absolutely loved, but couldn't hit a breaking ball to save my life. And they started throwing curveballs in high school, my freshman year, eighth grade freshman year, and I was out of it. I couldn't do it. And football was simple. I mean, it was something that I really loved to do my entire life. I think everyone knew me in the community as a good, solid football player, and I had a passion for it. And it came easy to me. I had a coach one day tell me, what do you like about it? And I said, I like tackling, getting them on the ground. And tackling was easy. Point the guy out, I get him on the ground, that's it. And you're back in the huddle. And that became really easy for me. So I knew I had a gift in football, and I knew I had the right mentality about football. And I think that mentality was the process. I enjoyed the process of working out, running, getting in shape, and then the physical side of the game was just a part of what I really loved to do. So going to Maryville and playing there and playing with the likes of Felipe Sparks and Kevin Galbraith and, the guys that I played with in high school, man, it was a complete joy.
So you talk about tackling people, but I got to say this. You had the state record for a good number of years, if not still to this day, for number of touchdowns in a game in 6. Which game was that? And what was it like playing in a backfield with Kevin Galbraith and Felipe Sparks?
Well, see, that was just it, Vince. I think the one thing that you guys
were you the decoy or what?
If you ask Felipe and Kevin Galbraith, which is true, they got the ball down to the 1 or 2 yard line, and then I just punched it in.
Okay, there you go.
But look, hey, I always tell them, look, someone had to punch it in.
Hey, right place, right time, right?
I'm sorry?
Right place at the right time.
Right place at the right time. Yeah, Felipe had an 80-yard run. You should have scored. Well,
that was fun. Yeah. So how was it playing for now? And I can speak to this because I was a couple of years behind you. And I was teammates with a very good friend of yours, Kevin Minifield, but I graduated from Camelback in 1989. So Kevin and I were teammates back then. And I always give him a hard time. I tell him it was because of me. He got a scholarship to ASU because I helped open those holes. But, you know, you played for Buck Hall. You played at a time in the Phoenix Union High School district where there were some great teams back then. I mean, let me just go through this before you tell us about your high school career. But you know, James, you know this obviously because I talk about it a lot. I sit on the selection committee for the Phoenix Union Sports Hall of Fame, and this year we are inducting, and you'll remember some of these names. And if you can make it to the induction in December, Darren, I think you're going to have a great time. But we're inducting Byron and Marlon Rhymes from Carl Hayden. Yeah. We're inducting, obviously, my old teammate Kevin Minifield from Camelback. We're inducting Felipe Sparks. We're inducting Kevin Galbraith. And we're inducting Nathan LeDuc this year. Oh. It's going to be an incredible year for your era. So you're going to see a lot of those guys. A few of them have a little less hair, a little bit more of a stomach since then. But, you know, playing for Buck Hall and playing in that league, in the Metro League, what was that like?
It was fun, man. You know, but see, you know, a lot of those guys that you just named, the Nathan LeDucs and Felipe and Galbraith and Kevin Minifield, a lot of those guys that are going to be Hall of Famers are the same guys that, you know, play football and I played football against in Pee Wee and Pop Warner. And we got to know each other extremely well over the years. But, you know, the one thing I will say about, you know, that group that you just named, you know, Kevin Minifield should have been a Maryvale Panther, which I mean, he would live right down the street. And he bailed out on us. He absolutely bailed out on us.
It was a package deal. We brought his dad Melvin over to help coach too.
Yeah, you guys are recruiting. That's what you guys are doing over at Camelback. That's
never.
Yeah. But you know, so you know, I played in a backfield with Kevin Galbraith, who led the state in rushing, I think, in his junior year, and was a tremendous tailback. I mean, at the time, you know, there wasn't a better tailback in football, in high school football, than Kevin Galbraith. And then probably the best all-around athlete, you know, arguably that I've ever been around was Felipe Sparks. Mm-hmm. And it's a toss-up between he and Kevin Minifield, but, you know, Felipe was the guy that was the lightning rod that made me a better football player because he was a teammate. He was the guy that challenged me every single day to be at the top of my game. And, you know, as a teammate, you have pride in yourself to be, you know, a guy that, you know, if the guy next to you is a tremendous player, you want to be even better. And he pushed me every single day. I wasn't the athlete that Felipe was, but I was a guy that inspired to be a guy that could play at a high level. And he would push me every day. He talked trash. If you know Felipe, you know he's going to run his mouth all day, every day. And you better be up to the task. So he made me a better football player. He sharpened me, not only in high school, but, you know, in our time at Arizona State in college. So, and then, you know, Felipe and I even played a couple games, you know, played a season together with the Dallas Cowboys. So, you know, Felipe's been a huge part of my life and a guy that's really, really challenged me over the years.
Well, we're visiting with former Maryvale Panther, Arizona State Sun Devil, and Dallas Cowboy Darren Woodson. We'll step aside here shortly on the JV Sports Show. When we come back, Darren, we'll talk a little bit about ASU, and then we'll move into your pro days and a little bit of time at ESPN as well. We'll be right back here on the JV Sports Show. All right. Vince, bring us back and keep it rolling.
Okay.
This is great.
Yes, it is. Welcome back to the JV Sports Show. We are here with legend Darren Woodson. Darren, want to talk to you a little bit about your college, your collegiate career. And I seem to recall coming out of high school in 1987, I believe it was. There was a little bit of a struggle that you overcame academically. Tell us a little bit about Prop 48 and what that was like.
Well, I was a Prop 48, and basically my grades in high school didn't meet the standard that were in place to make be eligible to play college football or play college sports, period. So myself and Felipe Sparks were what we call Prop 48s coming out of Maryvale High. Both of us were getting recruited by Arizona State and many other schools in the country. But Felipe and I were basically going to go to Glendale Community College. We had a choice either to go to Arizona State, sit out as a prop, or go to Glendale Community College. Felipe made the choice to go to Glendale Community and was an All-American.
Yeah, and he won a national championship.
Yeah, won a national, and was, you know, I think Kirsting was the head coach, and he recruited me heavily over to Glendale. I ended up making the decision to go with Don Bakke and Arizona State. And Don Bakke is tremendous. And he was recruiting coordinator for Arizona State.
Yep.
Basically said, hey, man, you have all the tools, all the skill sets. We just need to get your grades right. And, you know, we believe in you. So I sat out my first year, went to Arizona State, sat out my first year, watched guys like Nathan LeDuc, who was, you know, a tremendous athlete at Alhambra High, excel at Arizona State. And I was, man, you know, to sit there an entire off season or entire season and not play football, which, you know, I've been playing football since I was in third grade and had never missed a season. And to sit back that year and watch, you know, it really inspired me to come back and be a better person, better football player, better student. And I watched Nathan LeDuc, you know, excel. And I thought, hey, I can do this. I can get back out there and I can be a part of this organization. And that's exactly what I did. I got my grades right. The next year, Lovie Smith welcomed me with open arms as my position coach. Larry Marmee, the same. Don Bakke, of course, kicked me in the butt and told me, hey, I had faith in you and I believed in you. Now prove everybody wrong and you prove that you're going to be a tremendous student athlete. And that's exactly what I did.
How did you end up settling on your defensive position? Was it determined? Was it predetermined? The coaches said, hey, you're going to play X or you're going to play this spot. Okay.
It was predetermined that I was going to play what they call the devil back position. And I think Lovie Smith made that known early on that, you know, the defense, the secondary coach was wanting me to play, you know, some safety. Lovie Smith said, no, this is the position you're going to play. This is what you're going to do. And at some point you're going to be an All-American at the position and go on and have a successful, you know, career at Arizona State. And that's exactly what I did. I just fell in line. I just felt like, you know, I had a lot of trust and a lot of faith in Lovie, not, you know, Coach Smith, not only as a coach, but as a man. He was a father figure. He was a guy who held me accountable as far as being a student athlete, making sure I was in class, making sure and instilled to this day, instilled in me what time was. Like, you better not be late for a meeting. And matter of fact, if you're even running close 10 minutes in that time, you better have some anxiety about it. And I still have that. That's still instilled in me to this day. So, you know, Lovie Smith, Don Bakke, Larry Marmee. I mean, there were so many good men that I came into at Arizona State that have really helped and guided me through my lifetime.
So you obviously, your stock grew in your time at ASU, and you end up being, you know, come draft day a couple of years later, second round draft pick, you hear your name, the team that calls your name. What was that feeling of emotion? Take us back through the draft and who you were with and what that moment was like.
And man, the emotions were tremendous. And I can give you that day, you know, my roommate was and best friend is a guy named Floyd Fields, who the year before I got drafted, he was drafted by the San Diego Chargers. And so I sat there and watched him. Floyd went in the fourth round to the San Diego Chargers. And I sat in there in the room and you know, it took a while. I got to the fourth round and then he ended up getting drafted. And I went through that process with him. So the next year he came back to Arizona State on my draft day, and sat in my apartment with my mother and my sister and my family. And Floyd was the guy who told me, I don't want you to sit around like I did and watch the draft. I want you to go somewhere. He gave me his pager. And back then we didn't have cell phones, folks.
Yeah.
He gave me his pager and he told me, leave. And if you get drafted or when you get drafted, I'm going to page you and you call back. And I said, okay. So I left and went out, and it's going to be my first time to ever go to a golf course. So I went to have lunch with a couple of friends, and then I was going to go to the golf course and hit some balls for the first time. And I pulled up at the golf course, the pager went off, and I looked at it. It was Floyd. I called him up, called my home phone. And he said, hey, I got some good news and some bad news. And I remember this call like it was yesterday. And I could hear my mom in the background. A Steelers fan. My sister was a Steelers fan. And she was 7 years older than me. She used to beat me up. And she forced me to be a Steelers fan growing up. So that's what I was. You know, and my best friend, my best friends, plural, were all Cowboy fans. And I used to hear it all the time about the Cowboys. And you guys well know that back then the Cowboys were the team a check. And I became the biggest Cowboy fan ever.
Wow. We have
go.
so much more in common than I ever thought, Darren, honestly. I mean, you saw yesterday I had my Bronco gear on.
Yeah, I did.
Anyway, that's a funny story right there. So yeah, as soon as Jerry got that ink and that checkbook out.
Man, you would not believe how fast I became the biggest fan. You know, I was walking around with a Rowdy hat on. Yeah.
So all of those personalities, I mean, you blended in, and you had Troy Aikman, you had Michael Irvin, you had Emmitt Smith. I mean,
Crazy Ray.
Oh my God, yeah, all these guys, and you had well, he was a couple of years behind you. Shante was a couple of years behind you coming out of ASU, but still, I mean, you had you had that lineage of being at ASU. So all these guys, I mean, what was it like playing with all these personalities?
Oh man, I mean, you named a few of them: Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin. But there's Charles Haley's and Nate Newtons of the world, and Alvin Harper's. There's so many. We had so many personalities in that room, and I think the one thing. Listen, I went to Arizona State, and we didn't go to a bowl game in the time that I was there. We had missed out by a game, or just didn't get voted in for a bowl game, and it was hard. I mean, it was hard to play in the fact that we just weren't, playing at the level that I wish we would have. And we had the team to do so. But, I get to the Dallas Cowboys and I walk in a locker room full of alpha dogs, full of guys who had just went too far and went into the second round of the playoffs and who had dreams and aspirations to go to the Super Bowl. And this was a young football team. So it was a team that was on the verge. And that's what I walked into. And I loved it, man. I cherished the competition and what we had in store for the organization.
We're going to take a quick break. I want to talk a little bit more about the Cowboys, and then I want to talk about your time at the Worldwide Leader in Sports. So we are with Hall of Famer, Phoenix Union Sports Hall of Fame, Dallas Cowboy Ring of Honor member, Arizona State University legend, Darren Woodson. We will be right back here on the JV Sports Show.
Vince here to talk about Angel Dentistry. Angel Dentistry is where my wife and I have gone for the past 10 years and can't think of going anywhere else. Dr. Amber Angel is an Arizona native, born in the town of Miami, and practiced in the Valley nearly 20 years. Dr. Angel and her staff strive to provide excellent customer service from the moment you call the office to the time you leave with a smile. From general to comprehensive dental services, call 602-788-2008 and ask about the JV Sports Special, a free to-go whitened tray. With or without insurance, she will work with you. Off Cave Creek Road, north of the 101 in Phoenix, Angel Dentistry, trusted partner of the JV Sports Show. Located across the street from Tempe's A Mountain and a few blocks from Sun Devil Stadium, College Bar and Grill is your home for the best local craft beer, delicious creative cocktails, tasty food, and Tempe's best atmosphere for ASU sports. Come see Joe, Nick, and the team for the best half-price happy hour in town from 3 to 6 and again from 10 p.m. to close. Wings, sandwiches, salads, and desserts. Whether you're on your way to the game or after, and catch your favorite games on their big screens. Located at the southwest corner of 5th and College in the heart of Tempe, College Bar and Grill, a proud partner of the JV Sports Show.
Home mortgage lending done the old-fashioned way. The Wyckoff team with Finance of America Mortgage will take the time needed to explain every step in the loan process. In today's fast-paced world, it's nice to work with a lender that you can meet in person. We have a variety of home loans to fit your needs. Learn more about how lending products from Finance of America Mortgage could help you achieve your financial goals. Contact the Wyckoff team today at 623-308-5385 or stop by their office located on Grand Avenue just north of Bell Road in beautiful Surprise, Arizona. The Wyckoff team believes you shouldn't have to feel alone. Finance of America Mortgage, where business is always personal.
Long Realty is the go-to for all your real estate needs. Local buyer looking in the West Valley? Call our trusted partners at Long. Out-of-state friends looking for a home in the beautiful Valley of the Sun? Call Long. Selling? Call Long, and they'll make your home long gone. Call 623-584-5384 and mention the JV Sports Show to get a free market analysis. Long Realty, located in beautiful Surprise, Arizona on Grand Avenue.
Hey, welcome back to the JV Sports Show. We're here with Darren Woodson. Darren, so let's talk a little bit about your first training camp with the Cowboys, and then obviously you spent 13 years with the Cowboys? 13, I forget.
13 years with the Cowboys.
Yeah. 13 years. So incredible. So your first training camp, you report in. Obviously, you got that check, and you came into camp. And what was it like? You spent training camp in Southern California, and
No, we stayed. When I first came in with the Cowboys, our training camps were held in Austin, Texas.
okay,
So,
okay,
I came in as a what we called a tweener, a guy who played linebacker but was going to probably play safety in the NFL. So I was new to the safety position, and Dave Campbell, being my position coach at the time, was a guy who was teaching a guy who'd never played the position and was extremely raw, a new position. So I came in and I knew I was going to play safety. And when I got, we went to training camp, the one thing they saw is that I could cover. I could cover, wide receivers. I could cover linebackers, running backs. And my first week, I'm working specifically with the safeties. And then Dave Campbell says, hey, I want you over there working with the corners. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm a safety. He said, yeah, but you can cover. And you're going to be my cover guy. And I thought, wow, that's weird. I'm a linebacker. No one knew what position I was going to actually play. And now I'm playing safety, and now I'm over here with the cornerbacks. So, and I attribute that to Lovie Smith, because Lovie Smith had me covering in college. He made me cover the wide receivers in college. He knew I could do it. So, and I had confidence in doing so. So I went over and I covered with the corners. And my first year, I was a little upset that they didn't give me the safety job as a starter, because I definitely I felt like I was a starter, or felt like a guy that could play as a starter. They allocated me, and Jimmy Johnson himself said, I want you covering the team's best tight end, and I want you covering their slot receivers. And that's what I did. I was the nickel guy. Myself and Kenny Gant were the nickel backs my first year.
The Shark.
Yeah, the Shark, man. And it was, listen, that team was loaded with talent. And it was a Super Bowl, of course, it was a Super Bowl team. And I wanted to do my job and fit in and be a guy that took care of his role, be a role player. But, what always bothered me, and still did to this day, was that I didn't start. It's my first time in my life that I wasn't a guy who came in as a starter at the safety position, and it just burned me a little bit.
How did it feel coming back and playing in your home stadium in the '96 Super Bowl?
It was great, man. It was good because, it was some good and some bad. I had to buy a lot of Super Bowl tickets, which was costly.
Yeah.
A lot of family and friends, and there were more friends that weren't really friends that became friends.
Oh, yeah. If I'd have known you back then, I'd have hit you up too.
Yeah, right?
James, I'm sure you would have been one too. But
yes, sir.
it was fun in the sense that, here's a guy that came from Maryvale. I played in Maryvale, played in front of, played for Buck Hall and Tom Tucker, and a guy who played at that level, and then had so many ups and downs as far as Prop 48. And a lot of people didn't believe that I was going to make it eligibility, be eligible to play, and I overcame that. And, the joy of just being there in 1996 and playing in front of those that truly believed in me, the Don Bacchis, the Tom Tuckers, the Buck Halls, the Lovie Smiths, Larry Marmee, there's so many people that played a role in my success. And now here's the opportunity of playing in front of them, my mother, my family, my brothers and sisters. I mean, it was a joy. It was like a 360 come back to play. And who would have ever thought that I would be playing in Sun Devil Stadium as a Dallas Cowboy in a Super Bowl against the Pittsburgh Steelers? That's it's just how, God has a sense of humor, man, really does. So, a complete joy. We ended up winning that game, and really celebrated hard with a lot of family and friends afterwards.
Now, after you got done with football, Darren, you decided to join the worldwide leader in sports, ESPN, and get into broadcasting. Talk about how that came about and how you kind of developed a passion for that.
Well, I think it was a little bit, my entire life, I've always had people that play strategic roles in guiding me and mentoring me through processes. I mentioned earlier Don Bacchi and Lovie Smith, and my mom at an early age, and Buck Hall and Tom Tucker. But then when I got into my last year with the Dallas Cowboys, Bill Parcells was my head coach. And I had a back injury, a nerve injury. And Bill Parcells told me to take a year off and just get healthy. And this is my 13th year. And I had gone through so much with the back injury that, I just felt like it was time for me to move on. And Parcells said, okay, listen, this is what I want you to do. Here's a game plan. I want you to go to ESPN. So he made an introduction to me, and the producers over at ESPN, a guy named Seth Markman. And he said, look, I want you to go there. And then once you get healthy and you start feeling better, I'm going to call you back and you're going to finish out the year. And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. So anyway, so he makes the introduction to ESPN, which I knew nothing about being an analyst or having a background in being in front of the TV, but he made the connection. I had a press conference. The next day I was up at ESPN working. It was that fast. I retired. The next day I was at ESPN. I'm working in front of the camera, had no idea what I was doing. I was the worst analyst ever in the history.
Well, you had a 14-year run, and in a few episodes back, we interviewed Herm Edwards, and you worked with Herm a little bit as well. I mean, what was so there's some personalities at ESPN too.
I tell you what, man, Herm is, again, I talked about, I just said it, man, people that mentored me and been, strategic, God has placed in my life. Herm is one of those guys, man. He is, his work ethic, joy and zest for life, man, it just rubbed off on me. And he's one of my best. I call him, Big Papa, man, because he's a guy that's inspired me in so many ways as far as being a servant and being a servant leader. So Herm has played a huge role in my life. Met him when he was at Tampa Bay as a coach, and he was coaching with Lovie Smith. And before the games, before we played them a few times, he'd always walk up to me and say, "Hey, 28, how are you?" And give me a hug and say, "I love you and appreciate your game," and blah, blah, blah. So that's how I got to know Herm, and then really got to know him at ESPN. But it was a good run at ESPN, 14 years, had some great relationships, Teddy Bruschi and Mark Schlereth and Trey Wingo, guys that who have really become friends in my life and continue to be friends and through the process. But ESPN was, 14 years of staying around the game. I had a zest and a passion for being around the game, and this gave me the opportunity. ESPN as an analyst gave me the opportunity.
Now you don't owe anybody anything, but you're not one to be complacent, sit around, do nothing. So when your time at ESPN ended, you now transitioned into something totally different. Tell us a little bit about ESRP.
Yeah, ESRP is listen. I during my time at ESPN, not the landlord, and Roger Staubach was very successful in the model. He was the father and the pioneer at the tenant rep model, and really kicked in the door here in the Dallas market and then internationally. So I followed. Roger and I have been friends, and he's been a mentor of me through the process, along with a really good friend of mine who worked with Staubach and Company named Steve Jarvie. So I got to know ESRP and the real estate game extremely well. Didn't make the transition until maybe my 11th, 12th year at ESPN that I started dibbling and dabbling and getting to know who ESRP was. Steve Jarvie became a president over at ESRP, and I wanted to join forces with him, and rightfully so. Man, I fell in love with the real estate game, and I fell in love with being with ESRP, became a partner in my first year. And that's what I'm doing now. And it's not that I fell out of love with football, but I got a new love. And I love being here every day with teams, and we build teams and we represent the client the right way and finding, office space or industrial space. And I have the best group. I'm a part of the leadership group on this team. And this is what I love to do, man. I love doing this real estate. And Minifield, of course, but there's so many faces and names. Grimes, I have not seen. They were superstars when I was a kid. So they're my brother and sister's age. So it's going to be a joy to be around that group.
Well, we look forward to seeing you here in December in the Valley of the Sun, and we'll step aside here on the JV Sports Show. Come back and wrap things up after this. Stay tuned.
Long Realty is the go-to for all your real estate needs. Local buyer looking in the West Valley? Call our trusted partners at Long. Out-of-state friends looking for a home in the beautiful Valley of the Sun? Call Long. Selling? Call Long, and they'll make your home long gone. Call 623-584-5384 and mention the JV Sports Show to get a free market analysis. Long Realty, located in beautiful Surprise, Arizona on Grand Avenue.
Home mortgage lending done the old-fashioned way. The Wyckoff team with Finance of America Mortgage will take the time needed to explain every step in the loan process. In today's fast-paced world, it's nice to work with a lender that you can meet in person. We have a variety of home loans to fit your needs. Learn more about how lending products from Finance of America Mortgage could help you achieve your financial goals. Contact the Wyckoff team today at 623-308-5385 or stop by their office located on Grand Avenue just north of Bell Road in beautiful Surprise, Arizona. The Wyckoff team believes you shouldn't have to feel alone. Finance of America Mortgage, where business is always personal.
Hey, all you business owners. Vince here from the JV Sports Show. Are you a fan of junior college and small college sports? Want to reach an established and growing sports radio listening audience both locally and abroad? Partner up with the JV Sports Show. We can help promote your business while you help support exclusive coverage of junior college, NAIA, NC2A Division II and III sports. Check us out at www.jvsportshow.com and let us show you the benefits of partnering up with James and I on the JV Sports Show.
Located across the street from Tempe's A Mountain and a few blocks from Sun Devil Stadium, College Bar and Grill is your home for the best local craft beer, delicious creative cocktails, tasty food, and Tempe's best atmosphere for ASU sports. Come see Joe, Nick, and the team for the best half-price happy hour in town from 3 to 6 and again from 10 p.m. to close. Wings, sandwiches, salads, and desserts. Whether you're on your way to the game or after, and catch your favorite games on their big screens. Located at the southwest corner of 5th and College in the heart of Tempe, College Bar and Grill, a proud partner of the JV Sports Show.
Welcome back to the JV Sports Show, a great show as always here. We had the pleasure of visiting with Darren Woodson today, Vince, and great to hear a little bit more about his story and some interesting stories as well about his time with the Cowboys and the Sun Devils, as well as Maryvale High School.
Anytime we can bring on somebody that grew up here in the Valley of the Sun in Phoenix and can talk a little bit about their history, in particular, obstacles overcome. This guy wasn't handed anything. He worked for everything he had, and it was just an amazing story. Growing up in the projects and ending up having a mother that persevered, worked 2 jobs, 4 kids, kept him out of trouble, played sports, excelled, got off track academically, got back on track academically, worked for every single thing he had, and it paid off. And it's an amazing story.
Yeah, very successful individual, and he's doing great things now. He got into the real estate game, and he's enjoying life. So can't be nothing but happy for him, and we'll be looking forward to seeing him here in the Valley in December for the Phoenix Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Okay, very excited about that, James, and thank you so much, Darren Woodson, for your time and being generous this morning, and looking forward to rolling this out to everybody soon.
Yeah, very, very, very soon, actually. And special thanks as well to his assistant, Clara, for helping us put this thing together. And we hope you enjoyed this episode, a special edition of the JV Sports Show. We debut live tomorrow on the air, Saturday, August 3rd, here in Phoenix on 1060 AM NBC Sports Radio. We hope you join us. And you can catch us on Twitter at JV Sports Show, our website, www.jvsportshow.com.
And every Saturday morning thereafter, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. Tune in. You can catch the live stream if you're out of the Metro Phoenix area, or you can tune in at AM 1060 here in the Valley of the Sun in Arizona.
Yeah, the live stream's available online, www.nbcsports1060.com. It'll be right there on the top. It says listen live, and we hope you tune in. So that's all for now. Thanks again to my partner, Vince DeLisio, and our guest, Darren Woodson, today. This has been another edition of the JV Sports Show, and we'll take it easy. Take care.
Go JV.